Hey, what's up? Got a few things to talk about. So I made a video to come talk to everybody about them. First, our space weather. We have a little bit of coronal mass ejection, and according to the projection, it says a CME billowed away from sunspot 1247 on July the 9th. And it could hit Earth's magnetic field on the 12th because it was not squarely directed, not traveling at really fast speed. Only minor geomagnetic storming is expected when the cloud arrives. So we're going to get a little geomagnetic storm, they've told us, between now and the 12th, and probably add a couple days to the 12th. Now there's another thing I want to show you. Someone else had made a posting on something that had happened earlier in the week, and they showed a video and they said the feed stopped, so you couldn't completely see what they were showing. And what it was this: there was an object, a comet or something, flew into the sun. It disintegrated, of course, but the other video showed it stopping about here and saying that the feed would stop then. But this is the feed that doesn't stop then, and as you can see, it proceeds all the way up here and then disappears and disintegrates. So what has already transpired is over with. For anybody that doesn't know, this thing that did not stop kept going, and that event is already over with. So I want to talk about some other issues that have arisen. Statements have been made about how long it would take before Japan finally stopped poisoning everything by allowing the reactors to continue the way they are. And I heard that statement said that it could take up as long as 10 years before they finally got everything good and cleaned up and shut down. I find that unacceptable, that anybody could even comprehend that it could take up to 10 years for this. So that should show everyone that this is just continual. They have no intention of shutting it down. It is with malice, it is with purpose, and it is with plan that this continues unabated. And now your media is shut off. They're not giving it exposure that it should get. So your knowledge of the true danger of all this is not being given to you. But as you can see, if you watch where it comes out over here, you'll see that they're in this area right here, where the arrow I'm pointing to it at, this color code right up here. They've got a piece of that comes out. So this is the level, at least, that's coming out. And this would be your xenon 133. You can set it for other ones to check the iodine and the cesium also. But this xenon is making it completely all the way across the water over to other points of the world, everywhere, and just going everywhere. And this is a shame. And as we know, Japan had suffered another 7.2 earthquake just recently, and they've had several other earthquakes. They mainstream calls them aftershocks. I call them earthquakes. So all that region over there, the Indonesian region, Tonga, Fiji, Kermadec Island region, New Zealand, Australia, all that whole area working all its way to Japan. And then remember, we had 7 points in Alaska not long ago. So that was 2 there. You had 2 in the Kermadec Islands, is 4. Then you had 1 in Japan. That makes 5 7.0 earthquakes in not very many weeks. And that is not a good thing, because you follow it around and you're seeing here and lower down in a different region, all the way coming up over into here in Alaska. So you're seeing 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. So something is being disturbed more and more and more. And then we could get into why, but we know that Nibiru, Elenin, Planet X, Wormwood, Gabriel's Fist, whatever name is known as, is playing a role in what is going on. Those of you that like Terrell 03, he is not around at the moment. From what I understand, he has left to set up the area that they're going to ride it out in, and others have joined. So I assume, according to his video, that he'll be back online to talk to you all, talk to everyone actually, I guess, as soon as possible. 7/7 has passed. We did get those earthquakes the day before. I wouldn't want to be on Mercury. I haven't found out any information about what the effects were to be sandwiched in between the sun and the object. They surely would have been watching that. I feel secure that they kept a close eye on that, and they know exactly what happened to Mercury. We're already going into the middle of July, and soon it'll be August. And you see what I meant by kind of like a quickening. We've had these 7-point earthquakes, 5 of them in not very many weeks. And so you should anticipate that if all this is really real, and we kind of surely think that it is, that it's going to continue, and more than likely escalate. So keep aware, keep paying attention to what's going on everywhere. Keep looking up, because there is a lot of stuff going on over your head. You can catch some of it if you happen to be the right time. On to another issue. This is my old buddy Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, the Democrat from New York, the far left liberal Dem. Well, not so long ago Chuck did an interview. Chuck said something that bothered me. I think it should bother everyone. As you know, they're arguing about raising the debt ceiling and whatnot. Well, they're not really arguing, it's just a put on show, but let's read along a little bit about what old Chuck said. I don't know if you know. but now you will. The headline was, Obama may not need Congress to avoid a default. The president may not need the approval or disapproval of Congress to avoid a default, but Congress needs to act. Well, this is reminding me more and more of a king or a dictator the deeper we go into his presidency. On a conference call with reporters Friday, this would be July the 1st, it's dated the article, Chuck Schumer acknowledged that President Obama may not need congressional authorization to avoid a default on the national debt. But he noted, too, that the constitutional debate on this question isn't ripe enough yet for Obama to take an end run around Congress, even if Republicans refuse to increase the national borrowing limit. Let me say that again. The constitutional debate on this question isn't ripe enough yet for Obama to take an end run around Congress. So it's not ripe yet. It's not the time yet. It's a little early yet, according to Chuck. I asked Schumer, a lawyer, whether, in his view, the administration had the power to continue issuing new debt, even if Congress fails to raise the debt limit. He acknowledged that the question has been discussed, but said the White House probably shouldn't go there just yet. It's certainly worth exploring, Schumer said. I think it needs a little more exploration and study. It's probably not right to pursue at this point, and you wouldn't want to go ahead and issue the debt and then have the courts reverse it. For weeks, liberal legal academics have been arguing that the fourth section of the 14th Amendment forbids Congress from defaulting. The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law shall not be questioned, it reads. More recently, Democratic members of Congress have been eyeing this interpretation as a sort of escape hatch. Why should we be debating raising the debt limit on the GOP's draconian terms if the Constitution says Congress can't force a default? But Democratic leaders and the White House have thus far pursued standard legislative negotiations, and according to multiple aides, the question of constitutionality hasn't come up in those discussions. President Obama declined to comment on the constitutional questions in his Wednesday press conference. It's worth exploring next time around, Schumer said, but it hasn't been examined enough to deploy it this time. Now, this guy here, he's saying there's a way the president doesn't have to ask anybody anything. He doesn't have to ask permission from Congress. He don't have to deal with it. He can just interpret constitutional statements and law as he sees fit, and then do whatever he wants to do, and then tell everybody it's the right thing. Well, think about our debt, everyone. Think about what we really owe. If they don't raise the debt limit, and there were to be a default, we're screwed. That's the bottom line, in simple terms. If they do raise the debt limit, and the figure that I have heard has been in the 9, it was 2.4 trillion range, more. If that is to be true, we're screwed too. Because whoever holds the paper on your debt is your master. Till your home is paid for, you don't own it. Your car or nothing. You got possession of it, but you don't own it. You are beholden to hold the note on your debt until you are out of debt and paid it off. So we will be beholden to whomever it is that we're getting the money from that is doing this, whether it be members of Bilderberg, whether it be members of Illuminati, whether it's just specifically certain families like Rothschild or Blackstone or whomever. We will be beholden to whoever holds that debt. And a lot of people say China. Well, yeah, we're in debt to China, but somebody's back in China. You know, they didn't just do all this and rise up by themselves. So there's something in the back room between China and someone else. So somebody's yanking them around too, whether you believe it or not. Everybody's getting yanked by the puppet master at the top. Well, they're claiming August the 2nd is about the latest date for a decision on what is going to happen with the debt. So this could be a changeover from the dollar. This could be a severe devaluation of the dollar. I think you're probably going to see, I would imagine, since it's basically a extortion of the people, that you'll see it increased at the last moment. Because the Rothschilds want their money, even though they don't need it. It's the form of control through it. They don't need any more. They control over half the world's money as it is. Well, it's not about making more money. Of course, they won't refuse that if they can. But certainly it's about control through the power through it. And so I don't believe that we will default, but I believe borrowing more money is simply another word for too big to fail, continual bailout, no default. But it is a default when you look at it in the right view, because you haven't addressed your problem, you haven't fixed anything, you're digging a deeper hole, and sooner or later you will pay the piper. So during the next 3 weeks or so, we're going to see these guys messing around and making statements and arguing this, that, and the other, and blaming each other. But it's all for show. They know what they're going to do, even if they do default. It's what they're told to do. They never do the right things anymore. They never do what you ask them anymore. So let's not expect them to do the right thing or to ask us our permission or our thoughts on what to do to pay our debt. And that's really all I had to offer tonight. I hope everyone had a nice weekend. It is very, very hot here. 2 days in a row it got up to 107 with a heat index pretty close to 115 degrees. One day it was index 115 in my town. We are in a severe drought in certain parts of the country, and I'm in one of them. And we're going to be over 100 every day next week, anywhere from 106 to 103. And I believe if I look it up, we have been over 100 every day this month. So, no rain to speak of. I'm about ready to do a rain dance, try and get something going here. But anyhow, y'all have a nice Monday to start the week on. It's not my particular favorite day, but it comes and it never goes away, does it? So, I hope the Lord blesses every one of you and keeps you safe. I keep you in my thoughts, my prayers, my heart. and I'll speak to you again soon. Keep looking up. Bye.